Hi, I'm Tony Graci, and you're watching The Art of Music Tech. And I was always a purist. I was like, oh no, I'm going to be a jazz drummer, and I'm just going to mostly play jazz, but things started to change. Like, I noticed that to make a living, you really need to expand if you want to be successful. So anyways, a lot of my friends were doing TV commercials, and they were composing, and I was like, you know what, I'd like to try to do that, you know. And I came up with a CD for children. It was a children's lullaby CD, and it was like a mellow CD. I love playing slide guitar. I let a few people hear it, and one of my friends was a TV producer, and he was like, you know, I really like this stuff that you're playing. Would you be into, writing for some TV, cues? And I was like, sure. And that's kind of how I got into it. I started writing for shows like Duck Dynasty and Pawn Stars, and it kind of, I started making, a pretty good income from that. So I was like, wow, I'm going to keep going with this, and if I can play live too, I'll do that too. I'll do whatever I can. But so I started buying guitars as an investment. Actually, I was like, well, every time I'd make a chunk of money, I would buy a guitar. I was like, oh, I want that guitar that George Harrison played with the Beatles, or I wanted that guitar that Keith Richards was playing. I'd buy a Telly, and I wanted that 335 that Eric Clapton played. And so I started buying instruments, and so that's been great, because not only are they great investments, but I get to use them every day. And then I slowly got into recording, and I wish I would have gotten into buying a lot more recording equipment earlier on, because it's so expensive now, the vintage stuff. But basically what I use over here is, I got some API stuff, Vintech, V72s, 1178 compressor, and I use Logic and Pro Tools, and I tell you, there's nothing like having some really nice front-end gear to really make your music sound warm and full, And it's incredible, the technology today, with all these incredible plugins from companies like UAD and Slate, and there's just so many great companies out there. And it's just nice to be in your own environment and be able to create without having to be on the clock at a studio, I do miss being in a studio, because of a studio, you're really capturing the sound of a room. Here in my studio, it's a smaller room, and I'm kind of limited to the sounds that I can get. But I come up with some really good sounding music, and it works. It works here. The new microphone that I recently just purchased by Mesinovic Microphones, they're located up in Detroit. It's a fantastic microphone. Recently, I've been working on a show, Northwood Laws, which is a show about these game wardens up in Maine. You can hear the slide guitar in there, and the Jew harp in there, and a lot of different instruments I used. I played drums on it, guitar, bass, all that. And a lot of the stuff I did for Duck Dynasty was kind of the same swampy, bluesy kind of thing, So yeah, it's fun. It's fun working on all that different, different stuff. Sometimes I'll be asked to do stuff that I've never even composed before, and they're like, Tony, can you do something like this? And I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Can you do some orchestrated stuff? I was like, yeah. So it's kind of cool. It kind of pushes your creative envelope, so to speak. The best advice is just to keep composing and writing and work from the heart. Really do what you want to do. I think that's what's going to probably attract the most attention to what you do, is doing stuff that you love to do.